Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Mindshare Podcast. This show is sponsored by Kits Keep in Touch Systems, a two-time international award-winning marketing suite for sales professionals, as well as REM, Real Estate Magazine, Canada's premier monthly magazine for real estate professionals. Learn more about our sponsors by visiting my site, mindshare101.com. And while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of my book, The Ultimate Marketing Bundle, as well as learn more about our one-to-one coaching. Also, when you get there, you're going to see a pop-up about our upcoming Mindshare happening in Toronto. Details are really limited, and that is very much on purpose. What I will tell you is that we are hosting a 2-day Mindshare in Toronto on May 29th and 30th. It's for a small group only, and once you register, then we'll be in touch with more details. Now, don't be that person who says, like after the fact, I wish I was there. And don't wait, because like I said, it's going to be a small, powerful group, and we're going to be solving big problems. Today's episode is number 225. Wow. Just like that, welcome to Q2 of 2023. What the? Where did time go? Like, how is it possible that we're already 3 months into the year? We're already into the fourth month of the year right now. When we look back, the question is, how much did you actually accomplish? Do you know what you accomplished? Do you know how well you did? Do you know what was working? Do you know what wasn't working? Now, if you're coaching with us here over at Mindshare 101, of course you do, because I know and you know that you're focused on your goals, you're focused on your schedule. We've got trackers in our resource center. We're paying attention to all the little things that we're doing on literally a daily basis. And we know whether or not we're hitting those goals that we want to hit. And look, if we haven't got goals, if you haven't got something that you're striving towards, it's literally like you got in the car, put on a blindfold, started driving, and well, where are you going? On the flip side, when you've got goals and you've got something to strive for, you got someone to keep you motivated, someone to keep pushing you to get better. But it's key that we've got those. Now, I've said many times before, I don't know the goals are necessarily meant to be achieved. And I know you're probably thinking like, what? Especially if that's the first time you heard me say that. But for all the totally successful people that I've ever learned from, read books from, studied from, the ones that really make it, they always say that every time they get close to that goal, they just keep pushing it out further. They just keep striving for more. They keep going bigger. And I've got a video that went out recently where somebody actually commented. They said, like, if the goals are too big to achieve, then where's the motivation? And I'll tell you, the motivation is the daily work to try to get there, to try to even get yourself close. Because, look, if you set the bar too low, well, that's it. You've literally set the bar too low, and like it's just way too easy to achieve. And how are you ever making yourself better? I remember having this conversation with somebody as well. Like, you don't want to just walk into success. I mean, everybody wants to walk into success. It'd be nice to take the easy road. The reality is that when you look back, there's got to be a sense of accomplishment. There's got to be something that you look in the mirror and say, you know, I feel good that I did that. Instead of just like it being handed to you. So anyways, as we look back on Q1, I'm going to say to you, again, go back and look at those goals. Track what you actually accomplished. Recognize it. Look at the things you didn't accomplish. Ask yourself why. What was the reason that I didn't make it? What was the reason I didn't get there? And hey, if it's a income goal, if it's a number of deals goal, which I definitely don't want it to be at the top of your list on that stuff, you know that. Rather, you're putting like, working out and losing weight and staying healthy and feeding your brain, reading books and maybe vacations and date nights and time with family. And if you're thinking, yeah, but that doesn't generate revenue. Well, then again, change your paradigm right now. Is that all you're working to get up for every day? Just to make money? And I mean, like, again, don't get me wrong. I know that we want to make money. And I love money. I just want to keep making more of it. And yes, it is a big focus in my day. But it's not the only focus of the day, and it's definitely not the top priority. I want to take care of my family. I want to live a healthy life. I want to be happy. I want to know that I've got good things going on. And yes, again, money makes the world go round. I got you. But it's definitely not that thing that we look back on and go, man, that is the definition of true happiness for me. It can't be. It shouldn't be. Don't make it, especially when you're in the game of sales. I mean, yeah, again, it's real nice to close a deal. But if all we're doing is focus on money, we're probably not as happy as we could be. So, Q2, we are now here. It is now time. We got 3 months ahead in this quarter for the first half of the year to really make the first 6 months, amazing for us, to get that momentum going. And as the good weather's coming around, mindsets from consumers are going to begin to change as well. And people are going to start to come out, and they're going to start to, see the blue skies and see the sun shining. They're going to want to do more. So part of the advice to that is remembering to always live the Monday starts on Sunday lifestyle. It's a mindset. It is a lifestyle. It's a culture. It could be a habit. At the barest bones of it all, it's you being prepared. It's you knowing exactly what you got to do, when you got to do it, who you've got to do it with, what you've got to do ahead of time to be prepared, and making sure you put your best foot forward. And the more you do that, the easier it's going to be for you to succeed, and the harder it's going to be for anybody to bring you down. The harder it's going to be for your competition to beat you. And as we talk about preparation, I had somebody reach out to me the other day who I know listens to my podcast. So if you are listening, which I of course, I hope you are. She'd asked me, she said, Dave, I'm doing my first talk, on a certain date. I'm doing my first talk. I'm going to be on a stage talking to people. What do I do? Like, have you got any advice for me? And I mean, hey, listen, the first thing I said to her was like, don't go up there and picture everybody naked. Like, it's just weird. If you go up there and you start picturing everybody in the audience naked, trust me, it's not going to be a hell of a lot easier to concentrate. You're going to start looking around at people and thinking, oh my God, I don't even want to look at that person again. But, beyond that, seriously speaking, I mean, I seriously said that to her. And I'm seriously telling you too, if you're ever going to speak on stage, like, that is the worst advice ever. People used to say that all the time, picture everybody naked. Like, I don't know why that would make anything better. But the advice that I gave to her was, and I'm giving to you here, and it's sort of just, bringing up this story very quickly as I talk about preparation. It was exactly that, right? It's know your content, rehearse, know what you want people to take away from it, and be prepared. And again, I'm sharing the story based on the fact that I made this comment about preparation, because that is exactly how we make sure we're better. This past week, and by the way, this is just you and me again. See, last week we're solo. This week we're solo. Why? Because I've been on stage. I've had 3 separate group training through our Momentum, which is live virtual group training. But we've also had 3 separate stage presentations. And I guess I'll just let the cat out of the bag here for a second. You're listening to this on Friday because these episodes drop every Friday. And by the way, thank you. I'm grateful. This was actually recorded Saturday of last week. Okay, so you're listening to it on Friday right now, or maybe after the fact, but like as you're listening to this on iTunes and Spotify and all the major platforms, I recorded this about a week ago. And I did it in between the time that I had 2 presentations and then a third one coming up within the span of a few days. But the third one's coming up like, I don't know how to like explain these timelines, but it's Saturday today. So the next one's coming up like this week, Tuesday. So I actually got to fly out to BC on Monday. I'm on stage on Tuesday. I'm back on Wednesday. And the week prior, I was on stage twice. Now, I bring that up because, again, part of all of this stuff, right? And if you've ever been in a room when I'm, doing my thing, you can see there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of, talking, telling it like it is. I mean, hey, you listen to this podcast, you know how we roll here, but, we tell it like it is. We shoot from the hip, say the things that most people won't say. And I do all this because I find that it's incredibly important to be that voice that is truly going to try to set people on the right track. It's not that my way is the highway, I'm always right. But I look around at a lot of the things that are out there for everybody. I look around at a lot of the tools that are offered, the strategies that are offered, the pitches that are being made, the programs, the courses. And hey, listen, we are fortunate in this industry. There's a lot of really amazing stuff out there for us, okay? There's a ton of amazing stuff out there for us. But one thing that, I look around and I say, I don't want people getting caught up in this bright, shiny object syndrome, chasing squirrels, the hoopla of what does versus what doesn't work. I think it's important that we understand what does work. And when I look at the past couple weeks, for me, first of all, to just tie off this preparation thing, I'm always incredibly prepared, like always. I go up there and I know my shit. I want to do the best I possibly can for you. I want to get up there and I want you to be paying attention. I want you to listen. I want you to learn. I want you to take all of that away and actually implement, do something with it. Now, usually I tell every audience sort of towards the end of a presentation that most people aren't going to do jack shit with what I just taught them. But I tell everybody as well, and I do that to challenge you. I do that to get you to prove me wrong. And I love it. I had one presentation I did earlier this week, or last week, I guess you could call it. And I challenged the entire room to do something. I gave him a download and I said, I challenge you. And then I want you to keep me posted. And one guy sends me an email and says, David, I cannot wait to send you a big fuck you email to tell you that I crushed that challenge. Now you might think like, oh my God, how rude. But like seriously, the context of that, and realistically, I was excited by an email like that. I want people to do that. I want people to prove me wrong that they're not going to do anything, because I know that most people aren't going to do anything. So for those of you that do, you're going to kick ass. And I learned over these past 2 weeks from being on all these stages, we have, and I mean, I can't just boil this down to the past 2 weeks, but I would say that we have such an incredibly passionate industry. People who are really working hard, people who enjoy being part of it, people that live it and breathe it. But of course, there's always going to be some bad apples. There's always going to be some that don't take it seriously, that think it's too easy, that, don't want to put in the effort. People that make a bad name for it, and it is what it is. And that's like so beyond the point of what I'm trying to make. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like, we have a really passionate industry. And through speaking with so many different people, when everybody's sitting around in a group together, everybody seems like they're on the ball. Everybody seems like they got their shit together. But what I learned, and I continue to learn, and I'm fortunate because I get to have these conversations because you trust me enough to have these conversations. But most people really do need to get their systems in place. Most people have something they need help with. Most people are just too shy, scared, proud to look for help, to ask for help. And look, our coaching program here, and I mean, my coaching clients, you guys know this is a very custom tailored approach. This is built for you because you're going to have problems that you think is a problem, which ends up not being a problem. And then you're going to have other things that you didn't know were a problem that ends up being a biggest problem. And these are things that we need to figure out. And when we figure those out, we help you get to your next level. We help you get to that spot that you want to get to. Most people have that issue. So I want you to take a sigh of relief right there. It's one thing to see people on social media, see them on video, see them on their emails, see them in person, see them, walk around an event and think, man, she looks like she's just got it all together. Or he's crushing it. Everybody loves that guy. Doesn't mean they are. It's easy to fake it till you make it. It's easy to put up the smoke and mirrors. And one thing I've always said to myself, which I find for me that is a driver to keep me very grounded, I don't like bullshitting. And forget about bullshitting you, because if I'm bullshitting you, I'm bullshitting me, and that's what I don't like. Like, sit there and tell you, oh, the world's great and everything's amazing, and oh, I'm doing all this stuff, and people, oh man, you look like you're crushing it. But then you have those conversations in the mirror with yourself. And like reality is right there in front of you. So I'm not one to like sit here and pretend that the world is just the most perfect place in the world. The world is the most perfect. Anyways, whatever. You get what I'm trying to say here. The point is that we all have something that we could use some help with. But what I also learn, what I also find is that most people are too cheap. Now, as you just kind of spilled your coffee, you thought, oh my God, man, you really are a little bit like too forward. I told somebody that the other day, actually. A super nice guy. In fact, an incredible supporter. But always looking at the dollars is the first thing. Oh, I don't know, man. It's a little bit much. Much compared to what? And in fact, when you're, in negotiations and when you're talking to people about stuff and somebody tells you it's too expensive or, it's too much or you're charging too much compared to what? And most people don't have an answer for that. But this guy said to me, it's a lot of money. And I said, compared to what? And he didn't really know. And I had to tell him straight. I said, your biggest problem why you don't get to your next level is because you're just too cheap. You're always looking at the dollars. And it's not that he wants things for free. Just wants a little bit of a haircut on that price. Man, respect what people's dollars are. And if you expect people to pay you what you're worth, then you should be out there paying people what they're worth. And look, this isn't a rant about somebody wanting to pay me about something or not. What I'm trying to put in here is that when you know you need help with something, if you allow dollars to get in the way of getting that help, and you know that help would actually be an investment into you that would help you make a bigger return on investment, then why so focused on the dollars? See, we got to start to embrace money in a different way, have a different mindset about money. And I'm not going to go on about that all episode. There's a ton of books out there that you can read about money and the way you're supposed to be thinking about it. But I will say to you this, for everything I learn about it, if every single day you're constantly focused on money, you're counting your dollars about how much money you don't have, and you're always being, very, very sort of, you're keeping your hands in your pockets, you're not spending, you're not doing, you're concerned about where you're going to make your money, you're always going to live in that concern. Now, I'm not saying go, spend blindly, spend freely, don't pay attention to your dollars. It's not that whatsoever. But what I am saying is if you know you need to make a change, if you know you need to improve on something, don't let money get in your way. Don't let the investment, the cost of it, blind you from understanding that it's an investment and blind you from the fact that if you do get the return out of it, if you put in the effort, you'll get the results. Therefore, you'll get the return on investment, which is going to be tenfold towards what you put in. And again, that's something for me that I strive so hard to ensure that my clients are going to get the return that they're looking for. That's what I wake up for every single day. I want to help more people achieve what they want. And I know that in helping other people achieve what they want, at some point in the world, I get what I want. Now, it's not getting up to, this whole reciprocity, give and you shall receive. Give and you shall receive. But do not give so that you can receive. Make sense? You got to give genuinely. And to get to new heights, you have to climb. Could be, think about climbing. Climbing ain't easy. You want to climb a tree? It's not easy. It takes work. You want to climb a mountain? You want to go for a hike? It's not easy. It takes work. But in order to get to the top, you have to climb. So understand that climbing ain't easy. Understand it, roll with it, let it empower you, and keep moving. Now, another thing that I learned out there while I've been, with so many amazing people over the past, couple weeks, there really is a wave out there about going back to the old school. What's working, what's not working. And I mean, look, this is something big time that we're going to be talking about the at the Mindshare in Toronto, May 29th and 30th. So again, I really encourage you to get your tickets for that. But we're going to be diving in to some big problem solving. And some of the biggest problems I'm seeing out there right now is that people still think they're living in the market of 3 years ago, that the marketing strategies of 3 years ago are still going to work. But times be changing, and we need to change with them. And if you're not willing to evolve, or if you're not willing to do the things like the hard work, the climb, you're going to get surpassed. You're going to lose out. You're not going to have the success that you want. You're not going to be as happy as you'd like to be. So again, this wave that we're seeing right now, as much as people have found ways, they talk about, less hustle. And then there's other people that have glorified hustle. Look, hustle is another word for hard work. And I'm not going to sit here and say, you got to hustle, grind every single day. No. Let's enjoy life. Let's have some fun. But in the time that we are working, like I already told you a few minutes ago, this is Saturday afternoon. We just got in from hockey practice, and here we are getting this podcast ready. Why? Because you come back every single week, and I am grateful for you. Because I'm not going to miss a beat. Because consistency is the magic ingredient to achieving anything you want in life. So it's important for me to be able to be here for you, to put this show out. So when we talk about hard work and the climb and the hustle, and the daily grind, yeah. Got up early, did hockey practice. We did dryland with the guys. We've got a hockey banquet in a couple hours, and here I am in between trying to fit this in. Or fitting this in. That all comes back to preparation as well. You see, so we've all got things that we want to achieve, but let me tell you this, you're never going to hear the bullshit excuse from me going, oh my God, I just didn't have time. Oh, I don't know why I didn't get done. No, a week ago, probably actually 2 weeks ago now, I knew that this was coming up this day. Because we're always looking ahead and we're always prepared for more. See, the more we look ahead, the more prepared we are. Again, you're going to have a really, really tough time beating us. Now, I say you beating us because, the folks that coach with me, my VIPs, anybody involved within the Mindset 101 ecosystem, I look at these people as my team. And I want to help, guide and lead and collaborate and teach and hold you accountable to get to that next level. And boy, are we seeing some incredible, incredible successes from so many people. And it's all about having the right mentality to how things work in life. Now, I started off the show today by saying Q1 is over. We are now into Q2. We've just talked about some of the things that we need to be doing to get to that next level. Remember, what's working now to generate new business is very different than what worked back then. And back then being even 2 years ago, 3 years ago at the height of a market. So here's one of the action steps I want you to take away today. I want you to review your marketing plan for Q2. And quite frankly, we did this with our coaching clients over the past couple of weeks. They know the routine. They know where we're at. We constantly reset because every time we reset, we are getting that much more of a lead on everybody else that's out there. Because most people don't review their marketing plan at all. Some people who do it once a year. We're doing it every quarter. So think about this, okay? You're going to go over your marketing plan. Remember the AMH, audience, marketing, hustle. You've got 2 groups, and this is where we're going to start right now. I want you to draw a big letter T on a piece of paper. On the left-hand side, I want you to put group number 1. On the right-hand side, I want you to put group number 2. Up at the top, I want you to put a dollar sign. Now, for group number 1, these are the people that know you, like you, and trust you. And I'm breezing through this really quickly with you. But I want you to go through your marketing plan for group number 1. What are you doing to get in touch with everybody who's on your contact list? Are you sending newsletters? Are you doing social media? Are you sending out emails? Are you making your phone calls? Are you getting together with people? Are you giving them gifts? Whatever it is that you do, going for coffee and lunch, I want you to write it down on the left-hand side. And I want you to put a dollar figure next to that for how much it costs you per month. Then on the right-hand side, I want you to think about the people you don't know and much the same. What are you doing to market to those people to generate new leads? And what does each of those items cost you per month? Now, there's really only 7 ways to communicate with people. And again, go back to my website, mindshow101.com, download the Ultimate Marketing Bundle. It'll walk you through all 7 ways. And if you were at any of my sessions over the past couple of weeks, get that checklist done. I told you, I challenge you to get it done, that Ultimate Marketing Checklist. Get it done and keep me posted. But sticking to this, when you think about the 7 ways, those 7 ways, if I said phone calls is one way. Well, the people we know, it's a warm call. The people we don't know, it's a cold call. I know. I just said a bad word, cold calling. Did that the other day on stage. So I'm going to say 3 bad words right now. Cold calling, open houses, door knocking. It's true though. That's the stuff that's working. That's what everybody is talking about right now. It's not about online ads and funnels and automation. There's nobody out there that's really looking to buy and sell. There's not as many people. People are waiting. And we'll talk about how to deal with that in just a second. But what you're doing now is you're going through and you're itemizing what you're doing for group 1, how much it costs you, what you're doing for group 2, how much it costs you. Then we're going up to the top and we're saying, what's our marketing budget? and we're using our gut check, could it be $100, $1,000? Where's that max? Now that we know what the budget is, we can now look back at the things we're spending on and ask ourselves, are we on budget, over budget, or on budget, over budget, or under budget, pardon me? Do we need to make any adjustments anywhere? Now, let's say the money works and you're on budget. And then it's like, well, what do I do to change this? What do I do to get more? I'm going to encourage you, go back over the first 90 days of business. Maybe you need a bigger sample size. Maybe it's the last, 180 days worth of business. And ask yourself where most of your business came from. Was it group number 1 or was it group number 2? And if it was group number 1, then we look and say, what else can I do for those folks? Or how can I double down and do more of that? Maybe I got to pull some of my budget from group number 2 so I can talk to more people group number 1. And I remind you, it's crucial to go out there and prospect, to go out there and meet new people and add them to your database. But from a dollars and cents perspective, when we talk about that whole thing that I brought up before about that investment, when you invest in the right places, the return is going to be huge. And when you're investing in you, imagine you put in the work, the returns are going to be huge. So in this case now, what you're doing is you're looking at, where group 1 and group 2, where's the business coming from? What are you spending? What's working? What's not working? Because you're looking at your past number of, 90, 180 days, maybe more of deals. And you're looking for a commonality in those deals. And if you continue to see contact list, referral, follow-up call, then we know group 1 is probably your best source of business. And typically speaking, when you meet somebody in group 2, you should be putting them into group 1 so you can start to build that rapport with them. And again, we're going to see more business. In a podcast like this, I can tell you this, I can share it with you. And if you've worked on this stuff with me before, you understand what it is. If you have not, this is the moment where I say to you, this is where we dig deep, we roll up the sleeves, and we start to make changes that are massive changes in your world. That's what we do in coaching. We're going to help you break all this down because I want to help you spend as little money as possible and make them as much as you possibly can. And by creating the systems and creating the processes with you and holding you accountable and doing the problem solving, I have no doubt in the world that the investment you make comes back to you tenfold and way faster than you ever thought possible. But again, that's a decision you've got to make. So you're looking at your marketing plan for Q1. What worked, what didn't work? We're now planning for Q2. We're making that adjustment, and this is the reset. This is where you're getting ahead of the game. So I encourage you, go back and do that. And if you just sat there and went, whoa, man, what? You can rewind on this podcast, listen to it again, or you can go over to my website. You can get in touch with me. Let's have a conversation. We'll chat about how it all works and go from there. Now, I also mentioned to you a moment ago about, the pool is smaller, right? There's not as many people putting their hands up to buy and sell real estate right now. So what do? Well, we definitely don't wait around. And I know we talked about this last week in last week's episode, right? But we definitely don't wait around. We need to be the hunter, not the order taker. We need to go out there and find the business, not wait for it to come to us. Building relationships is not about running ads and hiding behind a keyboard. It's about calling people, talking to people, seeing people, getting to know people, and then staying in touch with people. This is not a game where you can just get up in the morning and look at social media, look at the MLS all day, look at, the news and read emails and just sit there and think that you're going to thrive. You might get some business. But if you've got these aspirations to get to another level, that's where we're going. That's what we're trying to accomplish right now. And if you get out there, get dirty, roll up the sleeves, understand that when you put in the effort, you will get the results, then you will get the results. But you've got to be willing to do it, to get up, get dressed and door knock, to get up and do the hard things, to do the stuff that most people won't do. And as people are waiting, and you do have that good conversation with somebody who says, you know what, I am thinking about buying. And this was another conversation I had with a client recently. And I said, stop just feeding them information. He goes, what do you mean? I said, somebody said they wanted to buy. Yeah. Did you ask if they wanted to go on like a search and you send them properties? He said, yeah. I said, did they say yes? He said, yes. I said, so what'd you do? He says, I'm sending them stuff. I said, and? He says, well, they're not really responding all the time. So I said, okay, because every time you follow up, you're following up based on what it is you're looking to achieve. And what he's looking to achieve is to basically pick up a new buyer. And he said, yeah. I said, well, there's problem number one. And really think about this as I share this with you right now. If you're getting up thinking about what you want to achieve and your method of operation, your goal is that you achieve what you want, chances are you don't get it. So here comes the paradigm shift now. If you want to close that deal or you want to just get that person a sign and say, yes, I'm going to work with you and have the opportunity to help them get that deal done, figure out what they want. Find their motivation. Establish timelines. And you do all this by asking open-ended questions and listening. And then as they give you an answer, you ask another open-ended question, and then you stop talking, you listen. And the more you listen, the more you learn. Yeah, I want to make a move. Really? How come? And just let them talk. So like what kind of timelines are we talking about? Really, why? And why is that important to you? You see, the more I ask those questions, the more somebody answers, the more I'm going to be able to understand and establish what it is that they're doing this for. Because when you ask the right questions, you will determine the motive. And sometimes there's no motive. There's nothing driving them to have to make the move. There's no timelines. They haven't got a kid that's got to go to school somewhere else, so they got to move before school starts. It's not about a new job. It's not about anything. It's like, we've talked about it. Well, if we don't dig deeper on that, then we got nothing to work with. We got nothing to leverage against them or for them. See, but if I know that, let's just say we're sitting here in April, and I know that they got to be in a new home before the school year starts for, basically like September, then we've got a period of months right now where we've got to make things happen. And every day that slips away, they're getting one day closer to being at that school year and not being in the place they need to be. So what are we going to keep working on every time we follow up? We're going to leverage the timeline. We're going to leverage their why. And we're going to remind them about that. And then when they don't follow up, we're going to remind them again. Because as we learn from them and we have the information that they're really looking to achieve, now we hold them accountable by continuously reminding them about it. We're letting a fire under their ass to make a move and have to follow up with you because we continue to talk about what they want to achieve. And well, every time we remind them of that, that's where, again, that trigger happens in their mind where they go, oh yeah, I got to do something. That's how you win more. So for everybody who says to you, we're waiting, for everybody who is, wanting to do something or has expressed interest, instead of just sitting there and saying, I'm going to feed you with a bunch of information, let's go, ask those open-ended questions. Find their motivation, establish those timelines, understand their big why, and then leverage that when you're doing your follow-up. And trust me, that will speed up the entire process for you. Try that and keep me posted on it, okay? Now, as we finish off here, remember this too. Consistency, and I said this already, consistency is the magic ingredient to achieving anything you want. It is essential to your success. You've got to consistently focus on your goals on a daily basis. Consistently live the Monday to starts on Sunday lifestyle, or your blocking time, your empowering time to manage you. You are looking at your schedule and leveraging it for everything you want to do in a day between both work life. I was going to say business, but I guess it's the same as work, but you get it. Work-life balance, right? Well, how do we achieve it? You got to focus on those goals. You got to block time in the schedule. You got to pay attention to where you're spending your time. And as we talk about spending your time, I don't want you to spend your time stressing. I want you to spend your time succeeding. I want you to spend it happy. I want you to spend it having fun. And that's where I come in and being your coach. We're going to get you there. That is my goal. I love it. Like that is what gets me high. Okay. That is what gets me like to this level that I'm at right now. because I get excited thinking about it. I get excited when I see my clients winning. And boy, do they know that we're going to push. And we do it in a way that helps everybody. As we talk about consistency, I will consistently be on your ass in a good way, okay? But as well, consistency, your marketing plan. Think about what you're doing, what you're not doing. Ask yourself if you've been as consistent as possible. Look at those goals and say, did I hit my income goals? And if you did not, why? Well, did I consistently make my phone calls? Did I consistently get involved on social media? Did I consistently do my emails? Am I being consistent enough with my message? Am I building enough mind share consistently? And if you're not, and you realize you're not, this is again where we got to build out a system and a process for you that's going to make it work for you. So look, I could go on and on and on about all this, and I would love to. And in fact, I want to do this with you individually, if we're not already. But I want to just say we're into Q2. Your time is right now. The busiest time of your entire year is coming up at this moment. And it's going to be really simple for you to fall off the rails, to lose sight of everything that you want to accomplish because you're getting so much busier and there's going to be people popping up that want to do stuff. It's about to be an incredible time for you. My encouragement to you, no matter what, no matter how busy you are, leverage your calendar. Block your time. Be in control of your time. Don't let other things fall by the wayside because you're busy working a deal. You want the next deal? Always be thinking about the next one. That's where I come back to thinking like a hunter, to being or living a Monday starts on Sunday lifestyle. Anyhow, I will continue to be here for you. I wish you nothing but the best of luck for the next 3 months ahead. If you need anything at all, you know where to find me. You're either listening to this on one of your favorite podcast platforms, or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. And while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle, our 31-page ebook, including your free 90-day social media content calendar to help you build more mindshare so that you get more market share. A reminder as well that if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching, an in-person keynote talk for your upcoming event, and or ongoing virtual training, just get in touch with me. We'll set up a consultation call, learn more about what you're looking to achieve, and how we will help you do just that. Also, make sure to get registered for our small group mastermind taking place on May 29th and 30th in Toronto. This is going to be 2 powerful days of collaboration, networking, and big problem solving. Don't forget to leave a review of this podcast, www.ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101, and connect with me on Facebook at mindshare101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan 101. I want to thank Kits Keep in Touch Systems and REM Real Estate Magazine for sponsoring the Mindshare podcast. Be sure to visit our site to learn more about what these powerful companies will do to help you grow your business. This has been another episode of the Mindshare podcast. Thank you for tuning in.